Nkem Dinchinkwu is a woman to watch. Filmmaker, author, speaker, activist, Nkem has been named one of Africa's top 40 women in film and television by Film Biz magazine. Children's author, motivational speaker, and producer, Nkem has produced 13 films, 7 books, and her inspirational verses have graced the pages of Oprah Winfrey's magazine 5 times. Some of her production credits include Pound of Flesh, Page 36, Sam, Gem of the Rainforest, and Bayou City of Kings. And her inspirational words make her a sought-after speaker and writer from Houston to Hollywood and from news outlets such as the Huffington Post and Forbes magazine. Nkem's last release, Lone Star Deception, featured Oscar nominee Eric Roberts and Anthony Ray Parker. Bridging continents with a mixture of Hollywood and Nollywood, her next film project is a feature film with an expected release date of 2021. We can't wait to see what's on the horizon for rising superstar Nkem Dinchinkwu. And she is definitely a woman to watch. Nkem Dinchinkwu, welcome. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very glad to be here.
Let's jump right in. So you grew up in Nigeria, in what many Americans would consider a non-traditional household. Can you tell us a little bit about how you grew up, what some of your experiences were, and how those shaped you into the woman, or really into the artist that you are today?
First, I was born in the southeastern part of Nigeria, Enugu, in a family of 4 wives and 27 siblings.
Wow.
So my father was the Igwe, like the king of my hometown. But anyway, so growing up in a large family, lots of love was shared. Trusts, you build trusts. At the same time, you build independence. But my father died when I was 12 years old.
Oh.
My mom has always been my rock. So I would say that I will give her the credit, and of course, God, for actually the woman that I've become. And I'm hoping to become, to be better today. So being in the same household with so many siblings, you learn to take care of yourself, because for you to be selfless, you have to become selfish. So all those things played parts. Then my eldest sister, who passed away, then my second eldest sister, she lives in Maryland, and my brothers, from the same mother, they all played parts in that. So I always tell my kids that I'm very happy and proud that I was born and raised in Nigeria.
All right. So then how and when did you immigrate to the United States? And what were your hopes and your dreams for a new life here?
Well, living in Nigeria, we think a lot of people have the same vision of America. I have the same vision of coming here and my life will be better. But before I left Nigeria, I was in the University of Lagos. My sister had already passed. She passed while I was, it was my first year. So considering the consistent strike, schools would be closed for like 3 months straight, 6 months straight.
Wow.
Nothing was happening. So of course, I had to leave the country and came to the US. I lived in California at first, with my brothers. So when I came here, everything was exciting, and like the weather was cold, seeing different faces, people from different backgrounds, very diverse. But it turned out to be not how I envisioned it.
So you were in university when you left Nigeria,
Yes.
But what about when you came to the US? Were you able to continue?
Yes, absolutely. When I came to the US, I was in a community college. Then basically at that time, I didn't really have any direction of what I wanted to be. But before I came to America, I wanted to be a chef. I wanted to be a chef. I wanted to be a journalist because I've always loved to write. I'm a talker. I mean, a lot of people describe me as very vivacious. So, but when I came here, of course, I found out how expensive it is to attend a culinary school. So all that changed. Then I ended up moving to Maryland, and I went to school in DC, got my bachelor's in computer networking, and eventually—
Wait a minute. Computer networking. So you were a bit of a science nerd with all of that going on as well?
Yes, yes. You know what? One of the things, I wouldn't say that I regret, one of the things that I should have paid attention to when I was in the community college, one of my professors kept making comments on my writing. I mean, she came to class one that said, "You guys should write a day in the life of a fan, like a fan, you know?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, everybody was confused. I kept thinking about it. And within 20 minutes that were given, I gave her like a 1.5 page paper. Her comment should have been my what is the word? My alarm to start writing, but I didn't pick on that. Yes.
Wow. Wow. So all of that was your path to the creative arts, huh?
Yes, until a friend of mine said, "Nkem, I think it's time you start writing a book."
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So I see your books there in the background, and I actually am a children's author too, as you know, and I'm trying to figure out, like, how do you bridge from being a children's author and then the dramatic filmmaking, because even though they're both creative arts, it's a pretty significant, you know, jump from being a children's author and then going to be an action-packed dramatic film producer. So tell us a little bit about that journey.
Actually, it's the other way around.
It was the other way around. Okay.
I became a film producer before I decided to go into children's book writing. But after I produced my first film in 2012, accidentally, because it wasn't planned, I had wanted to just go in there and cook for them. I ended up being the production manager and ended up being one of the producers. That was in 2012. Then within the same year, I published my first book, Tribal Echoes. And after I published the book, and you know, considering the stories you hear, the children you meet, I have 4 kids, 13, 15, 17, and almost 19. So they were much younger then. So, you know, they come back from school, they tell me stories, you watch the news, you hear about kids committing suicide and bullying and sexual abuse and things like that. So I just said to myself, you know what, I think it's better I channel that energy and use my voice to see if I can mold as many kids that as I can, you know? So I decided to go into children's book writing because I believe that, you know, kids are like a Play-Doh. You know, you get a Play-Doh, you mold them in the shapes that you want. So as a filmmaker, as I realized that I could, from writing children's book, that I can actually make, you know, put the words into motion pictures. So it's to an advantage for me that I'm a film producer to make it a lot easier for me to actually empower and teach and inspire, inform, you know, many children through both arts.
Wow, and you've done that. I mean, how many children's books have you written now?
I have 5 picture books, and I have 2 for young adults, teenagers, and adults.
Okay.
Yes, but I'm yet to adapt any of them into a screenplay. I've actually adapted 1, but of course, filmmaking, one of the biggest problems that we have is lack of funding.
Wow.
Unless
it's hard out there in the arts world.
Maybe before the pandemic, I'll probably end up being a millionaire. You just never know.
So you're a proud Nigerian, as you say, and I really want to get your thoughts about Nollywood. You know, I want to know if you could share with us kind of your thoughts on the history of Nollywood, as well as the future direction, the way that you see it anyway.
Well, the future has always been unpredictable. Nothing is ever guaranteed. I mean, the next moment, at this moment, is not even guaranteed. So, Nollywood has come a very long way. I am so proud of how far we have come. I mean, I remember growing up, some of the movies that we used to watch. I mean, they're not your typical motion picture. They're like your sitcom or, like a lifetime kind of, uh, well, you still call them movies, but they're not like your typical motion pictures. So, but we were still entertained, and you still see the talents, the dedication, the passion in all these actors. I mean, you still have some very bad actors. I mean, Hollywood, you still have some horrible actors, But Nollywood has really come a long way. So many of the actors that started acting from like 20 years ago, 15 years ago. I will use Genevieve Nnaji as an example because everybody knows who she is now.
Yes, yes.
And her film is on Netflix. She was a very dedicated actor. She was very young. When you watch her old movies, you see how slender, how young, how innocent, she looked. But she kept pushing and pushing, regardless of all the what is it called, detours or distractions or whatever that the case may be for her. She still kept pushing. So right now, and I mean, she's an inspiration to so many. She's an inspiration to me, So Nollywood, the way it is right now, I mean, we do our part. We are doing better in terms of storytelling. I think, or rather, I believe that Nollywood, we have more original stories or more authentic stories than Hollywood. I think one of the biggest differences between Nollywood and two differences actually, and Hollywood will be Nollywood has more resources in terms of money.
Hollywood has more resources in terms of money.
Yes, and they have more access to, big names in Hollywood. But at the same time, Nigeria generally is an untapped resource. We have so much wealth in there, So, but with Nollywood, Hollywood is beginning to see the potential in Nollywood. They're beginning to see that. We have incredible films on Netflix. Like, the budgets are like maybe 1/10 of what we spend here. Even like a simple short films here that we shoot in Houston, you're spending like $50,000, $70,000. And back home, they don't spend that much, and they still come out with impeccable productions. So Nollywood has a very, very, very bright future. I mean, right now, Netflix is in Nigeria.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So how do you think American audiences are set to accept the films and the stories that are coming out of Nollywood?
Well, when they see the authentic stories and they see how good the actors are, then of course, I mean, when you see something good, wouldn't you want to be a part of that? I mean, you would definitely. When I watch a film, I'm like, oh my goodness, this person is an amazing actor, and the person is no name, but they are awesome, and they could have just had only 1 or 2 liners in the film. So I mean, Americans or non-Nigerians or non-Africans, when they see what we can do or what we have done or the struggles we have gone through to be where we are, and we still keep pushing, and of course, you should definitely give that person a chance to be better. And eventually you that maybe believe that you're better than that person, eventually there has to be something you will learn from the other, from the other individual.
And you think that Americans are also ready for this whole new group of Black actors that they aren't familiar with, I mean, there's so many Black Brits, Black actors of Nigerian descent that are doing films that aren't even traditionally like Nollywood films, but they're Hollywood roles that are now going to a whole new group of actors, many of them Nigerian.
They will always be ready. They just didn't know it, So, I mean, I know a couple of actors, Nollywood actors actually. They lived in Nigeria and they moved to the US. One of them actually, Joseph Benjamin, he now lives in Atlanta. And he actually was in one of the episodes of Oprah Winfrey. What is it, this series called? Oh, I'm terrible with names. I don't know, but he was one of those series. And he's one of the biggest faces in Nollywood.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
I'm sure before they was, casted in production, they definitely checked his background, not just his audition,
Right.
They see where you see potential. Unless you're blind, even if you're blind, you can sense something good.
Real talent, real
Absolutely.
talent. So then how do you as a filmmaker, because you're a storyteller, you're a filmmaker. Clearly your passion in life, it comes through. It's just to use your voice and to tell those stories. But you truly represent a bridge between Nollywood and Hollywood. And so when you step into that role of storyteller, what do you do differently so that you could reach both audiences? How do you, as a creative, bridge that gap from the perspective of your audience? How do you please both audiences?
I'll use Lone Star Deception as an example. When I first read the script.
Now that's your latest release. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one with Oscar nominee Eric Roberts.
Yes.
And of course, with all the great talents and Anthony Ray Parker, I was so determined. When I read the script, as a producer, when I'm reading screenplays, I don't like to read screenplays. That's the truth. Because once I read that screenplay, my brain goes to work. Like it goes on overdrive. So, but anyway, when I read it, when I kept reading the story, I said, oh my God. I got to that part and I didn't even think twice. My brain just went straight to a Nollywood actor. And not because she's known, but because I just saw her, that it's a part. It's a small but yet a relevant part in the film. And I thought about her and said, Ibe Eti. I hope I pronounced it right. She was in London at the time. I reached out to her. She's known in Nollywood. She's a known face, a known name. She's an amazing actor. And I just knew she was the right person for that role. Majority of the cast in Lone Star Deception, 99.9% Americans.
Wow.
And I just said, no, we just need that flavor. We need to bring in Nollywood and say. And
so now how has Lone Star Deception done? How have audience been receiving it?
So far, I'm getting many text messages. People that I don't know after they watch the film, they reach out on Facebook. People that I know, they send text messages. They're very excited. It's not on Netflix or Hulu. It's on Amazon, Vudu, Fandango, and the rest of them. So meaning that a lot of people have access to watch it. So far, so good.
Good. So now I hear you're working on a feature film. Can you tell us about that, or is it a secret? And can you just tell us what's next for you and Kim?
I can't really say much. Actually, two.
Okay. Two feature films. Okay.
Actually, 3 feature films. But I can't really say much about them. I can't even give out the names or the director. But I can tell you this: incredible storylines. Like my jaw, I had to hold up my jaw like this while I was reading. I was very excited, but I try not to get so excited about when I read stories until I see the money. Yeah. Cuba, what is the name? Is it Goody Jr.?
Yes.
He said, show me the money.
Show me the money.
Yeah. So, but definitely, I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to being a part of those projects.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we definitely can't wait to see what is in store for you for the future. I can definitely see how bright it is. So, before I let you go, here we are in 2020. There's just so much going on in the world right now. Here I'm in Washington, D.C., you're in Houston, you have family across continents away going through the same thing with this pandemic. This pandemic has cut across, like I said, the country, cut across oceans. It's a global phenomenon. It's hit every sector of our lives. How do you think it is going to impact the Black arts community there in Houston, Nollywood? How do you think this pandemic is impacting that? And also, how do we recover?
That's deep. The longer underrepresented groups are marginalized, the longer we remain marginalized. If the Black art community will be able to hire a lobbyist, then the lobbyists will do their part to, hound the Congress to actually do the needful, So it's not just the Black arts community. It's definitely going to affect us the most, considering, when you go back to what time period was that? When Black art or Black artists were not given the same opportunities like the white, So it's been like that for so many years. So what do you expect the audience or the masses to do? Because when they're always being fed, say like a lot of white movies, a lot of movies that have white audience and stuff. So in that regard, I do blame maybe the casting directors, some casting directors that feel that it's better to keep casting majority non-Black artists, because they keep doing that, then of course, what do you expect the rest of the world to see? It's what we filmmakers put out there is what people see. So the earlier we start thinking better, the better life most likely will become. That's if we survive this pandemic.
Right. Well, we're not starting with a level playing field is what you're saying. So, we're starting very, very unequal with this whole history, generations of inequity, right?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you think our new normal will be after this pandemic? One thing I've noticed is there's been a lot of room for creativity. You see a lot of people, as we're all quarantined, taking the opportunity to really create. At the same time, people are hurting for money right now as well. Yeah. So as we sort of, we are going to move on from this, but I don't know that normal will be the same as it was before. So I'm really interested in your thoughts as to what our new normal may be and how it'll affect Black film.
I think our new normal has always been our old normal. Really, when you really think about it, the only thing is that, everything we do in life boils down to choices. So our new normal, it depends on you. What is your new normal? What was your old normal? Is your new normal still your old normal? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So after this whole pandemic is over, I'm really praying that, more people will stop dying. It's just so heartbreaking to just even pay attention to the numbers. So, but after this is over, by the grace of God, I am hoping that we as individuals, we as a community, Black community, white community, every community will definitely learn something from this experience, because there has to be a reason. There's definitely a reason there's a reason for every season, So it's, if, for instance, say human traffickers or whatever they are, their behavior before, after this whole experience, if they don't change, it's a choice. So it still boils down to choices. For me, making more time to actually think about myself, to pay attention to my weaknesses and strengths, and what can I take out from this? What can I do better? Of course, then I decided to also write new books. So I have 2 new books that I'm currently working on right now. So for filmmakers, I think maybe one of the things that most likely the rest of the world that might become our new normal will be like when you want to hug someone. I think at the back of your head, you'd be like, you will have to pause for a second, because this period has actually scared everyone, because this pandemic doesn't discriminate at all. So our new normal, whatever that is, will have to be an individual decision. So I can really elaborate on that.
Yeah.
More than this. Yes, ma'am.
Well, you did. I'm so glad, Nkem, that your choice has been to use your voice. I heard you'll have some new material for us coming up. I'm so glad that your choice has been to use your voice to help catapult us into the future with your words and your stories. Just such a blessing. And again, I just cannot wait to see what you have in store for us and what the future has in store for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for this time.
Okay. Good luck.